First graders, good Tuesday morning. I hope you had a great 4-day weekend. I am back with Dinosaurs Before Dark from the Magic Treehouse series. This is the first book. I'm going to jump right into this. I'm going to read the first 3 or 4 chapters. This book is a little bit shorter, so might end up reading a new book Friday. We'll see. Chapter 1, Into the Woods. Here's a picture. Brother and sister. Help! A monster, said Annie. Yeah, sure, said Jack. A real monster in Frog Creek, Pennsylvania. Run, Jack, said Annie. She ran up the road. Oh, brother. This is what he got for spending time with his 7-year-old sister. Annie loved pretend stuff, but Jack was 8.5. He liked real things. Watch out, Jack! The monster's coming! Race you! No thanks, said Jack. Annie raced alone into the woods. Jack looked at the sky. The sun was about to set. Come on, Annie, it's time to go home. But Annie had disappeared. Jack waited. No Annie. Annie, he shouted again. Jack, come here! Jack groaned. This better be good, he said. Jack left the road and headed into the woods. The trees were lit with a golden late afternoon light. Come here, called Annie. There she was, standing under a tall oak tree. Look, she said. She was pointing at a rope ladder. The longest rope ladder Jack had ever seen. Wow, he whispered. The ladder went all the way up to the top of the tree. There, at the top, was a treehouse. It was tucked between 2 branches. Wouldn't that be cool if you're just going through the woods and you found a treehouse? That would be pretty exciting. Kind of nerve-wracking, too. Make sure there's no one in it. That must be the highest treehouse in the world, said Annie. Who built it? Asked Jack. I've never seen it before. I don't know, but I'm going up, said Annie. No, we don't know who it belongs to, said Jack. Just for a teeny minute, said Annie. She started up the ladder. Annie, come back. She kept climbing. Whoa! There's a picture of it. Jack sighed. Annie, it's almost dark. We have to go home. Annie disappeared inside the treehouse. Okay, now I can show it to you because she's at the top. There's the ladder. If you look, you can see her up there. That is a tall treehouse. Jack waited a moment. He was about to call again when Annie poked her head out of the treehouse window. Books! She shouted. What? It's filled with books! Oh, man. Jack loved books. So does Miss Prince. He pushed his glasses into place. He gripped the sides of the rope ladder, and up he went. Chapter 2. The Monster. Jack crawled through a hole in the treehouse floor. Wow. The treehouse was filled with books. Books everywhere. Very old books with dusty covers. New books with shiny, bright covers. Look. You can see far, far away, said Annie. She was peering out the treehouse window. Jack looked out the window with her. Down below were the tops of other trees. In the distance, he saw the Frog Creek Library, the elementary school, the park. Annie pointed in the other direction. There's our house, she said. Sure enough, there was their white wooden house with the green porch. Next door was their neighbor's black dog, Henry. He looked very tiny. Hi, Henry, shouted Annie. Shh, said Jack. We're not supposed to be up here. He glanced around the treehouse again. I wonder who owns all these books, he said. He noticed bookmarks were sticking out of many of them. I like this one, said Annie. She held up a book with a castle on the cover. Here's a book about Pennsylvania, said Jack. He turned to the page with the bookmark. Hey, there's a picture of Frog Creek in here, he said Jack. It's a picture of these woods. Oh, here's a book for you, said Annie. She held up a book about dinosaurs. A blue silk bookmark was sticking out of it. Let me see it. Jack set down his backpack and grabbed the book from her. You look at that one, and I'll look at the one about castles, said Annie. No, we better not, said Jack. We don't know who these books belong to. But even as he said this, Jack opened the dinosaur book to where the bookmark was. He couldn't help himself. He turned to a picture of an ancient flying reptile. A pteranodon. He touched the huge bat-like wings. Wow, whispered Jack. I wish I could see a pteranodon for real. Jack studied the picture of the odd-looking creature soaring through the sky. Ah! Screamed Annie. What? Said Jack. A monster! Annie cried. She pointed to the treehouse window. Stop pretending, Annie, said Jack. No, really, said Annie. Jack looked out the window. A giant creature was gliding above the treetops. He had a long, weird crest on the back of his head, a skinny beak, and huge bat-like wings. It was a real live pteranodon. Let me show you the word. I'm having trouble saying it. I keep wanting to say pterodactyl, but I know that's not it. Where is it? Where is that word? There it is. Okay. See it? It was a real-life pteranodon. The creature curved through the sky. He was coming straight toward the treehouse. He looked like a giant glider plane. The wind began to blow. The leaves trembled. Suddenly, the creature soared up. High into the sky, Jack nearly fell out the window trying to see it. There's Jack looking. So maybe it is a pterodactyl. Maybe that's just a different term for it. I would have to look it up. Pretty big. Especially compared to Jack. The wind picked up. It was whistling now. The treehouse started to spin. What's happening? Cried Jack. Get down! Shouted Annie. She pulled him back from the window. The treehouse was spinning. Faster and faster. Jack squeezed his eyes shut. He held on to Annie. Then everything was still. Absolutely still. Jack opened his eyes. Sunlight slanted through the window. There was Annie. The books. His backpack. The treehouse was still high up in an oak tree. But it wasn't the same oak tree. Dun, dun, dun. Chapter 3. Where is here? Jack looked out the window. He looked down at the picture in the book. He looked back out the window. The world outside and the world in the picture, they were exactly the same. The pteranodon was soaring through the sky. The ground was covered with ferns and tall grass. There was a winding stream, a sloping hill, and volcanoes in the distance. Where are we? Stammered Jack. The pteranodon glided down to the base of their tree. The creature coasted to a stop. Coasted means it glides in without flapping. When you're coasting in your car, you're not pushing on the gas. If you coast on your bike, you're rolling, but you're not pedaling. That's what coasting is. She pulled... wrong page. The creature coasted to a stop and stood very still. What happened to us? Said Annie. She looked at Jack. He looked at her. I don't know, said Jack. I was looking at the picture in the book, and you said, wow, I wish I could see a pteranodon for real, said Annie. Yeah, and then we saw one. In the Frog Creek woods, said Jack. Yeah, and then the wind got loud, and the treehouse started spinning, said Annie. And we landed here, said Jack. And we landed here, said Annie. So that means, said Jack. So that means what? Said Annie. Nothing, said Jack. He shook his head. None of this could be real. Annie looked out the window again. But he's real, she said. He's very real. Jack looked out the window with her. The pteranodon was standing at the base of the oak tree. Like a guard, his giant wings were spread out on either side of him. "Hi!" Annie shouted. "Shh!" said Jack. "We're not supposed to be here." "But where is here?" said Annie. Hey, the name of our chapter. "I don't know," said Jack. "Hi!" Annie called again to the creature. The pteranodon looked up at them. "Where is here?" Annie called down. "You're nuts. He can't talk," said Jack. "But maybe the book can tell us." Jack looked down at the book. He read the words under the picture. "This flying reptile lived in the Cretaceous period. It vanished 65 million years ago." No. Impossible. They couldn't have landed in a time 65 million years ago. "Jack," said Annie. "He's nice." "Nice?" "Yeah, I can tell. Let's go down and talk to him." "Talk to him?" Annie started down the rope ladder. "Hey!" shouted Jack, but Annie kept going. "Are you crazy?" Jack called. Annie dropped to the ground. She stepped boldly up to the ancient creature. Boldly is like brave, kind of. It almost looks like it's smiling, doesn't it? Chapter 4. This is the last chapter I'm going to read. Henry is the name of chapter 4. Jack gasped as Annie held out her hand. Oh, brother, she was always trying to make friends with animals, but this was going too far. "Don't get too close to him, Annie," Jack shouted. But Annie touched the pteranodon's crest. She stroked his neck. She was talking to him. What in the world was she saying? Jack took a deep breath. Okay, he would go down too. It would be good to examine the creature, take notes, like a scientist. Jack started down the rope ladder. When he got to the ground, Jack was only a few feet away from the creature. The creature stared at Jack. His eyes were bright and alert. "He's soft, Jack," said Annie. "He feels like Henry." Jack snorted. "He's no dog, Annie." "Feel him, Jack," said Annie. Jack didn't move. "Don't think, Jack. Just do it." Jack stepped forward. He put out his arm very cautiously. He brushed his hand down the creature's neck. Interesting. A thin layer of fuzz covered the pteranodon's skin. "Soft, huh?" said Annie. Jack reached into his backpack and pulled out a pencil and a notebook, and he wrote, "Fuzzy skin." Fuzzy. I wonder if it feels like a peach. That's what I think when I think of fuzzy skin. I always think of like peaches and apricots. "What are you doing?" asked Annie. "Taking notes," said Jack. "We're probably the first people in the whole world to ever see a real live pteranodon." Jack looked at the pteranodon again. The creature had a bony crest on top of its head. The crest was longer than Jack's arm. "I wonder how smart he is," Jack said. "Very smart," said Annie. "Don't count on it," said Jack. "His brain's probably no bigger than a bean." "No, he's very smart. I can feel it," said Annie. "I'm going to call him Henry." Jack wrote in his notebook, "Small brain?" with a question mark. Picture. Jack looked at the creature again. "Maybe he's a mutant," he said. The creature tilted its head. Annie laughed. "He's no mutant, Jack." "Well, what's he doing here then? Where is this place?" said Jack. Annie leaned close to the pteranodon. "Do you know where we are, Henry?" she asked softly. The creature fixed its eyes on Annie. His long jaws were opening and closing, like a giant pair of scissors. "Are you trying to talk to me, Henry?" asked Annie. "Forget it, Annie." Jack wrote in his notebook, "Mouth like scissors? Question mark. Did we come to a long time ago, Henry? Asked Annie. Is this place from long ago? Suddenly, she gasped. Gasped. Jack! Annie was pointing towards the hill. On top stood a huge dinosaur. That's the end of chapter 4. I'm not going to read any more until tomorrow. This week, I want to tell you real quick, we have a Zoom meeting, same day, Thursday, same time, 7 o'clock. However, this Zoom meeting is a little different. I want you to prepare some sort of talent to share with us. Now, talent, you don't have to learn something really quick in 2 days to share on Thursday. No, something that you already feel like you're pretty good at or you enjoy doing. It could be something as simple as drawing. You could build something with Legos. Maybe it's a set you have. Or maybe you build something original that you made up with Legos. Maybe you carve something out of clay or mold something using Play-Doh or Connect Sand. Something that you can show us on camera anywhere from about like 30 seconds, or maybe it might take you a little bit longer, like if you're painting or something, maybe like 2 or 3 minutes, or maybe you made something out of Legos already and you just want to show it to us and show it to us and be ready to like tell us, how long did it take to make it? What is it? What's your favorite part about it? That kind of stuff. So, some sort of a basic talent show this Thursday during our Zoom meeting. I hope to see you there. If you're really, really nervous and you can't think of anything, talk to your parents, talk to your brothers or sisters if you have any living with you, talk to your grandpa, grandma, uncle, aunt, someone that's with you. Ask them for some ideas. Let me know on Thursday what your talent is. I can't wait. I'm so excited, and I'll see you tomorrow for our next Read Aloud Chapter 5. Thanks for tuning in.